episode of Boys Gone Wild. Today we are promoting the Patreon at the top because we have done a whole new revamp.
New and improved.
Of the Privy Council.
New, yet old.
Yes, thine old be done. We have redone all the tiers because, to be honest, when I made the Patreon very hurriedly
3 years
ago, and I didn't change it once. I don't think I even read through how I'd written the tiers, so the copy made no real sense. Every single one had a picture of Brendan Fraser getting progressively fatter.
Loosely insulting to me.
Yes. There wasn't really any sort of idea behind it, but now we have reconceptualized it. We've done all 3 new tiers, and also I tried to counteract the fact that they add VAT by adjusting the prices so that once you pay the price with the VAT, it ends up being like £3, £5, £10. But instead that meant it was like £2.50, £4.17,
which made us either look
£8.33.
Which made us either look incredibly anal or like business geniuses.
Yes.
Which we're neither.
Just looked absolutely messy.
Well.
But now we have revamped it, and this is...
And with some changes to the structure of the Patreon slightly. Nothing really,
amazing.
but just a bit.
So on the first tier...
Is bog folk. That's £3 a month.
Yeah.
For £3 a month, you can become a bog folk. So we'll just read the description of each one, just so you know what's going on. Bog folk, £3 a month. Heart, good bog folk. We welcome thee to the Privy Council at the lowest of stations. You have entered the chamber, although you are covered in mud. For this, you will get access to an extra episode of BGW every week and advise us on matters confined to the Privy Council. You will, however, have no respect within the chamber and be spat upon arrival and exit. For that, you get bonus episodes every week, Patreon shout out, which we need to actually do this week, and early ticket access to stuff, which is just going to be the same across all of it.
What's interesting about this Patreon, which might be one of the first that I've seen, is that you don't actually pay for more privileges. You actually pay for honour.
There's one slight change between the next one, but it is fundamentally an honour-based system.
So we've kind of decided that because at the moment we're only just putting out an extra bonus episode, as opposed to you paying more for getting like another episode on top of that, instead you'll just have more respect in the community. It's sort of
which is important.
We're creating a sort of feudal system, and we're really making it strongly hierarchical.
Competition and conflict between the different tiers is encouraged.
Exactly, and if you're, for example, the next rank, you can speak down to bog folk, as we all will.
As would a Knight of the Realm would do, £5 a month. Good morrow, sire and siresses. We proudly welcome thee to the Privy Council as an esteemed Knight of the Realm. Clad in the latest steel plate armour, the bog folk bow to thee as you saunter into the chamber. You spit at them, for they smell of bog. For your honoured position of knight, you will gain access to an extra episode of BGW every week and advise us on matters confined to the Privy Council. However, as opposed to the stinky bog folk, your voice will actually be heard within the proceedings, as you have exclusive access to the BGW community chat, where we will regularly settle vital matters of the land. Honoured and steeped in glory, you shall prevail. So that's the same, but we're also going to do that chat thing that we've discussed.
Yeah. So there's going to be a group chat just for us, Knights of the Realm, and ranks
higher.
above.
Bog folk aren't welcome in the chat.
Bog folk, we don't care about your opinions.
I feel like we don't even need to say that.
And also, I won't be responding to comments from bog folk.
Yeah.
Only Knights of the Realm.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting. It's going to show how much do you value respect and honour.
And yourself.
And yourself.
So then, moving up from...
It's a great idea, because you know when you pay less or nothing, you're going to get ads every now and again.
Yeah.
How about you do it for less, but you just get like treated slightly worse?
Yeah. Well, you can just sleep a bit better at night. Or look at yourself in the mirror. So above the Knight of the Realm is the High Baron Lord Ladyton. Sire and siresses, we are not worthy. How honoured we are for you, a High Baron Lord Ladyton of the highest esteem, to grace us with your angelic presence on this day. We apologise for the bog folk. We know they stink of marsh. But please come hither and sit within the chamber and dine upon the finest of pork in the land. Yeah. For gracing us with your admirable presence, you'll receive early access to an extra episode of BGW every week and advice us on matters confined to the Privy Council, staking your claim to the kingdom within the BGW community chat along with our esteemed Knights of the Realm. However, unlike the Knights, you are people of the highest taste and civility, meaning you will be provided with the highest possible deference within the chat. We look forward to entertaining your enlightened advice and judgments, whilst holding the honour of, in turn, entertaining you on a weekly basis. I got a bit tired.
That's £10.
That's £10, and the difference between that and the Knight of the Realms will actually listen to you in the community chat.
Yeah, so Knight of the Realms are allowed to speak, but they shan't be listened
to in the chat. We'll listen to Knights of the Realm. We'll listen. So Bogfolk can comment on posts, but we won't listen to them.
No.
And they don't have access to the chat.
No.
Knights of the Realm can comment on posts and we'll listen to them.
Yeah.
They can post in the community chat, but we won't listen to them. And then High Baron Lord Ladytons can do all of the above, but we'll listen to their posts in the chat.
And we'll reply.
We'll reply. Then there's Magnus Rex Regina, which is £25 a month. You have the keys to the kingdom. Amongst all the other we should have put this on a much higher tier, I've just realised. This doesn't work. You have the keys to the kingdom. Amongst all the other benefits enjoyed by the lower tiers, you will replace us as hosts of the podcast.
That's crazy.
For £25 a month. That kind of implies that they'd get all the Patreon money as well. So it's worth it. We will also sing... That's because we were just singing when we...
we could send them
We
that.
can sing it, yeah. But it's just because we were singing hymns while we were making this. We will also sing you an exclusive personalised medieval hymn directly to your inbox.
Yeah.
We might have to jig that one a bit.
Yeah.
£25 seems a bit short for that. And then there's one more tier, which is £50 a month. Is the Alec Baldwin tier. And this tier is exclusively for Alec Baldwin. If you're not Alec Baldwin, do not sign up. It's resigned for him. It's just his.
I don't know. Does Alec Baldwin get any privileges?
Well, that's between us and Alec Baldwin.
That's exclusively. Yeah, seriously, if you're not Alec Baldwin, do not sign up to that tier.
So that's a new Patreon. It's the same below. As always. You'll get an extra episode a week, but we're also going to do this community chat thing. And I think it's the first Patreon I've ever seen the pits tiers against each other.
Yeah, and also treats this bottom tier with such
disdain. I hate them. When I see a £3 membership pop up, I spit. Why are you even there?
The backbone of your community, you disgust me.
God, yeah. Maybe we shouldn't even give Bogfolk a Patreon shout. No, we have to give them a Patreon shout out. That's ye old tradition.
Yeah.
Madeline McCann, eh?
Yeah, so the we talked about it on the podcast about the lady who wasn't pretending, said that she was Madeline McCann. Okay, and this made everyone.
Is this an Instagram account?
Yeah,
or something?
And this made everyone go crazy, and I loved it because she was so clearly
not her.
not Madeline McCann, and now she's just done a BBC News.
Was this the same? I've just seen. I just want to check.
We talked
her
about
out.
this on the pod.
I know, and I remember not ruling it out.
Yeah, it was just you speak. It's like it's just because her memory was a bit hazy when she was like 5 years old, and she'd fallen out with her mum, and then people went. Her account got millions of followers, and then this kind of spiritual healer who has 6 million followers started doing loads of lives with her and said that she could sense the energy that she was Madeline McCann, and that just started driving it more and more. I wonder how she feels now that...
Was it a prank or was it...
No. This was I think she...
It was a genuine, I might be...
Psychotic. Not psychotic.
Psychotic.
Well, she's like a teenager. I mean, that's kind of like a rebellious teenager thing to do.
This lady?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember her.
No, it looks the same person. That's her.
Well, yeah, I just don't remember.
Do you not remember?
No. I wasn't as engrossed in this.
Yes, you went deeply.
You.
I mean, I was obviously, we're all hoping it was Madeline McCann because that would be fucking awesome. If like
why you don't? You for the vibes rather than the return of the child safely.
Why wouldn't it be awesome?
I fear your motivations are more because you'll be like, what?
Well, yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you.
Madeline McCann is just like just a random teenager in Poland.
It's a great comeback story.
It's incredible. It's the biggest manhunt ever. And what? She's just been like living in Poland. She's been going to school.
Yeah.
She's been doing all that shit. Oh yeah, and she remembers saying like I think a lot of it was like she kind of like vaguely remembered being on holiday in Portugal, but all of her memories were linked to the stuff that we all knew about Madeline McCann. There was absolutely nothing else,
nothing original.
Yeah, and then she's just done this whole article where she's saying that she regrets. It's kind of anti-social media. But
it's social media's fault.
Yeah, well, it's just more like
we all have social media. Not once have I pretended to be Madeline McCann.
It's about like the dangers of social media, and you have to watch what you post. I guess you don't have to watch what you post, but then it feels very specific. Your issue.
No shit. I'd argue we all have to watch what we post. Claiming to be Madeline McCann isn't like they don't warn you about that when you first get Instagram. I didn't think they needed to. Don't pretend to be Madeline McCann. Well, if she sincerely thought that she was Madeline McCann, I have some sympathies.
I think she did.
Yeah.
To be fair, no, it's clearly.
Wouldn't you do well? But
it's a funny fuck up. Like we have embarrassing photos of ourselves when we're teenagers.
Not the same.
You have these moments.
How old is she?
I think she's like.
She looks
15,
older.
14, 15.
She's 15.
Yeah.
No. She does look young actually.
Or maybe not.
No,
maybe
22
16.
years old.
Really?
Yeah, it was a gift.
Oh God.
Well, she'd have to be Madeline McCann's age, wouldn't she?
Oh,
to have any legs. So. She's 15.
Yeah, sorry. That's so stupid.
Would be brilliant if like no one asked her how old she was. Oh, I'm 14. When did Maddie go missing? How old was she? 7, 8?
4. I think she was 4.
Bullshit. I'm saying 6. I know I've gone down.
Yeah.
Madeline McCann, age missing. 3.
She was 3.
Fair play. You know a bit too much. That's weird how much you know about Madeline McCann.
Fair play to me.
Yeah, weird.
Not to her.
No, the kidnappers.
Fair play.
Fair play to you guys. That's a tough age to kidnap. Yeah, you know a bit too much about Madeline McCann, you creep.
Well, Madeline McCann's the biggest.
Creep.
It's the biggest news story of all time. It's the biggest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
It's that 9/11 and World War II. Those are the big 3.
Yeah. Not the Suez crisis.
No, Suez Crisis doesn't crack Madeline McCann.
Does it not?
More people know about Madeline McCann than Suez Crisis, I'd say.
100%.
Yeah, I'd say Madeline
The
McCann's
Arab
a big.
Spring.
I don't know because Madeline McCann is surprisingly
When
global.
the Blackpool Tower was supposedly on fire, but it was actually just orange netting.
That's bigger.
That's
obviously.
bigger.
That's you go.
Yeah.
Amazonian tribesmen will know about that. That is still even they.
Yeah, it was big.
But yeah, I do think I do respect it. I do think it's a good boy gone wild move.
Yeah, that's true.
I just think what I like about it is like, yeah, she said he thought she was Madeline McCann, but I like the confidence of posting about it. I don't know.
Yeah, she's kind of posting. She isn't doing the research. The declaration is the research. She's not. She's being like, I am Madeline McCann. The rest of you, can you work it out?
It's fucking.
Well, I guess,
awesome.
but how? Okay, right. You wake up one day.
Yeah.
You have an epiphany.
I'm Madeline McCann.
I'm Madeline McCann.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Well, yeah, 'cause I guess you don't trust the police. I'd probably go to the police.
You go to the police and say, I'm Madeline McCann.
Yeah.
I might be Madeline McCann. But
Yeah,
you're Polish. You go to the Polish police.
Yeah.
They laugh you at the police station.
Well,
they
what-
say, look at this weirdo. Look at this blonde-haired freak. He's got a,
I'm
got a
me.
moustache. Okay, fine. But
So I'm me, and I've got into the Polish police
you might
station.
encounter some more
The
difficulties
Poloskie.
than she had.
Yeah, saying that I am Madeline McCann.
You can't speak Polish.
Even though I've lived there my whole life.
Yeah.
But I'm Madeline McCann.
You're Madeline McCann.
Both blonde.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I could be Madeline McCann.
You couldn't not be.
Yeah, because we're talking about on the Patreon last week that we posted out today. Yeah, a couple of days ago, we were talking about who's Banksy. But I guess if who is Madeline McCann would be a bigger reveal. Like, you know.
No, it wouldn't.
What if Banksy?
Incorrect.
What if Banksy's Madeline McCann?
I don't think the timelines sync up.
Well, I think maybe she carries on the. Well, Banksy could
Well,
be.
if Banksy's a bit like Batman,
Yeah, and
like
there's
a figure more than
you've had
a-
like Michael Keaton,
Yeah.
you've had Christian Bale.
Who's Banksy as well?
Yeah.
Good work, Christian.
Michael
Mikey
Keaton,
and Christian Bale.
Madeline McCann.
Yeah.
It moves on.
Christian Bale did some weird decisions.
He did. Yeah.
He passed on to Madeline McCann instead
Yeah.
of Robert Pattinson.
I feel like she's already one of those anonymous people.
It is not going to be. It's not more interesting. I guess it's more interesting. No, because Banksy. Well, because they're both just going to be. The likelihood is they're just ordinary people. I mean, definitely Madeline McCann.
Yeah.
If she's still alive.
Oh, I saw an article. I don't know if you read this, where Jeremy Clarkson has posted an article, right?
Yeah.
Where he's talking
An opinion piece.
Opinion piece. Have you seen it?
No, he just
So
has that column.
he did this boomer style anti-woke piece in the Sunday Times.
That's unlike him.
Just saying how British comedies stopped being funny and the only good stuff's coming from America. We used to be funny, we're not anymore because we've all gone woke. You literally know what it is.
Stick to your
And
tracks.
what I like about like columnists, like those boomer columnists who have had such a long career that they can basically I feel like he wrote it in his underpants.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
and
on
his
his
glasses
tractor.
like that. It's just
Yeah.
sort of like because you
On his phone.
yeah, is it all
Jeez.
just like just fucking?
God, that's a horrible thought.
Because he's like, oh, I've got that column I need to do, and it's just no one's going to tell him to change anything. He's
Yeah.
got like it's
Not
like Boris,
even. It's
Boris
not
Johnson is the same.
It's not even spell check.
It's fine. It's
Just off it goes.
yeah, it's an iPad dad. You can just see that.
Yeah,
he's just
the glasses
spouting.
really do add something. And with either a glass of wine or a coffee, depending
Yeah,
what
just
time it is in
whatever,
the morning.
yeah.
Or he could be wearing a vest and shorts.
Didn't
I'm wearing
read through
vest
it.
now.
Oh, nice. But is you doing that for style or
No, for warmth. Because you want to wear a t-shirt on some occasions.
how many vests do you have?
If I'm honest, one, and it's not nice, it's not pretty.
So you're wearing like a cowboy wears that like that, you know, that full body cowboy suit, which I think is.
I think that would be an unnecessary compliment to how I wear my vests.
Well,
I wear it like how you'd imagine
Do you ever take it off?
like an overweight American man who lives in a caravan and beats his wife.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that.
It's got illicit brown stains.
And you don't know whether that's like blood or coffee or poo.
You sort of, you cook by getting like a can, you put it in
And
a
it's
pot.
what like you know when the meat like goes and then
and you smoke while you're doing it.
yeah,
and you just
yeah,
go like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I've got a few kids.
You're
I
in
don't
swamp
know.
country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
You're swamp
marshland.
American. You're swamp American. You're a bog
Yeah.
American. You're
Yeah.
bog folk.
I'm bog folk.
American bog folk's
But-
a different thing because it doesn't have a medieval thing. They've actually reinvented the bog folk because
Yeah.
bog folk comes around throughout the whole of history, and I think there was
Would you say it's a rule of history?
that there's always bog folk. I'd say so.
It seems to be true.
You will find. I do think Irish seems to be like the centre.
Marshmen?
Well, I'd say maybe percentage of bog folk to non-bog folk was probably highest
Easy now.
in Ireland.
Easy now.
Well, just when I went there, and there was also
Yeah.
every single thing of Irish history past 1500s was found in a bog.
Yeah.
That's seemingly the only place that anything is preserved is at the bottom of a bog. So I
Yeah.
guess that maybe that's coloured my understanding of Irish history.
Yeah.
They've just found something
Well,
new.
I don't know whether-
they found a farmer's torso in a bog from 2,000 years ago. So it's
Is a bog good conditions for preservation of
clearly,
artifacts?
but it's clearly
and bodies?
Ireland is such a boggy place.
From my experience, it's boggy.
But I've seen history stuff in Europe. But they seem to find places other than a bog.
Yeah, they seem. Yeah,
So
they
maybe
find
they
things.
can keep stuff better. Maybe there was more of a kind of written history.
Rather than bog history, bog focus history.
From bog to bog.
Yeah, it's certainly marshy.
Yeah, but
It's not a dry land, is it? Let's be honest.
But I feel the bog folk there was a clear history of bog folk from bog. It was a sort of you grew, but from history just went on in the bog, and there's a clear lineage.
It's the same bog.
But Americans, I think they started a new type of bog folk.
Right. Do you think that was purposeful?
Well, I just think it was just that's probably what kind of.
But maybe in every society you need a bog folk
I guess so.
in
Yeah.
order for society to thrive. or
Anyway, I
even
was talking
function.
about Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson.
Well, I was talking about my vest, actually.
Sorry, yeah.
So, no, I've
and
done
also, on the topic of vest, I do want to bring back. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those cowboy full body things.
No.
So, what cowboys used to wear is entire sort of long john. It's
With
like a
the
onesie.
big-
it's a
the
onesie.
big fluffy.
No.
Well,
underneath
yeah, that's
it,
true.
Underneath it.
Yeah, yeah.
it's the white-
Like a long john.
Yeah.
Long johns.
But
yeah.
long johns are just trousers, right? This is all over.
That's true.
And you have a bum
Oh, the
flap.
poop hole. We've discussed the poop
Yeah.
hole on
Yeah.
before.
And then they won't take it off
a
about
you're describing a onesie,
Yeah.
and they came back a few years ago quite aggressively.
But did they come back in the cowboy way?
They had poop holes. We've actually discussed this on the podcast.
Of course we have.
And I think it was my gripe.
But I do think poop flaps.
Those onesies were poop flaps. Because you can't have such a clearly designated place where there's overtly like, I'm going to take this off to poo. You can't have that. It's the most embarrassing thing. It can
it's
be
also-
cute for kids. But the thing is, when onesies came in and adults are wearing it, it's just like, you're going to use that flap to poo. You can't have that.
Well, you don't know.
What else are you using it for?
Far?
Bar?
Far?
Fart?
Yeah.
Does that make it better?
No, it doesn't.
fart flap?
I was spitballing.
It's just slightly less gross.
Yeah.
The only difference would be if you're putting something in, which, fair enough.
That's true.
Fair enough.
It's a bumming flap.
A bang flap. A bang flap. Bum flap. No, bum flap's not clear enough because
I
it is a
think
bum flap.
It would put me off bumming someone.
If you had to do it for a flap,
for a poop flap.
because you'd
For
like.
a flap.
I'd have to ask them, what did you last use this flap for? If the answer's pooping,
Well, obviously.
no entrance. No entry from me. I think just avoid them altogether. That's my general advice. But you can get one. But you're describing a onesie,
Yeah.
which had a massive craze a couple of years ago.
But
bring them back.
they used it in a hipster way. They didn't use it in the cowboy way.
Did they?
Well,
I don't think it was a hipster way onesies. They were never hipster. They were like Middle
silly.
England. They were like Middle
Really?
England cozy by the fire.
Yes. Yeah. But they're not using it. The cowboy thing is that you don't take it off for 5 months, basically.
So yours is more about discipline. Again, it's always about discipline.
Yeah, it's about discipline. Well, it's just showers weren't readily available, so you change all your clothes, but it's basically a second skin.
Yeah.
And you just have it all the time.
But that seems like, why wouldn't you take it off and wash it?
Because washing was hard to do. They didn't really care about that sort of stuff. You're a cowboy. You're literally a cowboy.
Yeah.
You know, you're a wild man.
Yeah.
But it also is deeply
You haven't
missing.
got time to take trousers down.
What is missing from a lot of depictions of cowboys? You know, you see a lot
Is
of kids.
realistic poop flaps.
Yeah. Well, you see a lot
It's
of
a
kids.
weird cross to
well,
dial.
like a lot of kids running around dressed up as cowboys.
Hill to
I'm
dial,
like,
cross to bear.
this is not legit. This is not authentic.
Yeah,
You need to
because
put-
of the lack of flap.
You need to have a filthy
Yeah,
5 month.
That's what I was saying to like Christmas when all my cousins came running out.
It's like, where-
Not authentic. Where's your poop flap?
Exactly. So Jeremy Clarkson wrote this thing
Oh shit! Yeah.
where he was saying how shit American comedy has got, British comedy's got, American comedy's way better. And then at the end of it, he said that he came across a clip from British comedian Finn Taylor doing jokes about Fritzl and saying that maybe British comedy saved all along.
Funny.
So the Fritzl joke, which I've done sort of on this podcast, and it was my premise basically.
Yeah.
Jeremy Clarkson thinks is going to save British comedy.
Well, that's great.
And then Stuart Lee responds to Jeremy Clarkson saying like how terrible the article is, but also saying he likes Finn Taylor. But yeah.
So you're caught between this kind of clash of the titans.
Clash of the Titans, Jeremy Clarkson, Stuart Lee.
Yeah.
It's just funny. I don't know how I perceive myself, but the idea that Jeremy Clarkson
Yeah, thinks that
sees
everything.
that I'm the saviour of British comedy. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, he didn't say that.
No, he
did
didn't say that.
I
He
don't.
didn't.
I remember. I don't remember him saying that. So you don't need to. You don't need to feel any way about that. It's not something he said.
And I feel a huge amount of guilt and
Yeah.
shame that Jeremy Clarkson thinks I'm the saviour.
So yeah, it must be tough for you. Yeah, God, yeah, because he's not. You know, he's problematic, and that must put
That's
you. That must
embarrassing.
put you in a really weird position.
Well, because he thinks that I'm the
He's
the
like-
only person who can save British comedy. Like,
And then you're like, do I respond to that? Because it's Jeremy Clarkson. It must be difficult. It must be tough.
Exactly.
So I have a thing. Oddly,
yeah,
a lot of I seem to disproportionately target charities on this podcast.
Yeah.
I seem to come at them.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about charities that I have strong negative opinions on. I've discussed the donkey charities at length at times, and this is kind of the opposite of that take. But and I don't know. I'm here to, I think I do know,
Yeah.
but I'm here to ask the question. It's a loosely controversial take, and I might upset a few of you because most people have done this in some capacity. But is it not a bit of a gross culture in charities that a gross, selfish, almost seeming culture for charities? When people like run a marathon, or if they ever have to raise money for charity, that
I know
they'll
why you're bringing
do.
this up, but go on.
Pardon?
I know why you're bringing this up, probably.
No, you don't. There's no reason, I don't think.
Okay, it's not because our friends are running a marathon.
No. It's not that. I've just been reminded of it. But so when people run for a marathon or like, I don't know, climb a mountain, they'll raise money for charity. They'll do it for like a charity that's affected them specifically. So like either, a close family member or them. And I'm like, isn't that a bit selfish? Isn't that a bit uncharitable? Shouldn't you do like, if I had, I don't know, God forbid, and I know it's terrible, if I had a brain disease, that I've got a brain disease,
Or your
and then
mum's got a brain disease.
and then I'm like, I'm going to run a charity for a charity that helps me. I'm like, what about the people in Africa who don't have any water?
Well,
that's always been my point as well.
Yeah.
Is surely we should all give to water aid, and then we can think about the other problems.
That's the conclusion, and that seems like a problem because it's like, should we all have a big pot of charity?
And then we go one by one.
One by one.
Because it seems like children dying of thirst.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we do that one?
Yeah.
And then do obviously awful things, but on more Western...
I guess who decides what's the list? I think
I'd like it to be me.
I think so. I think I could pretty easily rank them.
we could do it.
Crush it
But
together.
there's something about, if I it's tough because it makes sense and it doesn't. But if I suddenly got a brain disease, and then all of a sudden I'm running a marathon for a brain disease charity.
You have no idea where you
I
are.
wasn't
Your
interested
brain's
I wasn't
fucked.
interested in brain disease before I got brain disease. Why am I so interested now?
Yeah.
Because I've got brain disease, and all of a sudden I want to raise money for brain disease because I've got brain disease. I'm a bit. Is that not a bit?
I know what you mean.
I don't know what the word is. 'Cause gross is too
I guess
harsh.
you're not. It's not. You've got brain disease. You're running a marathon for brain disease charity. You're not selling that by saying, I've always had a big passion for brain disease. That's not.
But I'm a bit like, as the person they're asking to give to the brain disease charity, I'm a bit like, where's this interest coming from? Why all of a sudden brain disease? Oh, is it because you've got brain disease? Now you want me to give to this charity?
I guess so.
It's a bit like, it seems a bit shallow.
No, I know what you mean.
I'm like, that if someone running a real, like, the majority of people do it for something that's affected them, right?
Yeah.
I think, why is there so few people who would run a marathon and be like, I'm giving to the British Heart Foundation? It's not affected me at all. Just think it's a good charity.
That's the real heroes.
That's the real hero.
But instead, there's all these sob stories about both my
sob stories a bit harsh.
Both of my parents died. It's like fucking hell.
I've got all the diseases. I can't see on my left eye.
It's hereditary.
Either.
Everyone in my family has it.
Why don't you give to Water Aid? That's a different argument. But do you know what I mean? You almost never see someone's like just giving page or their Instagram story.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm running the marathon. I'm running this marathon, and I'm going to give to this charity. No, with no full stop.
Yeah.
Full stop. It's always a charity close to my heart. I made it for the charity furthest away from your heart. That's real charity.
That's real charity.
That's real charity.
So, like, I've never considered giving to
because there's a chance the money comes back to you. You know?
Exactly.
Then I might as well just put it straight in your pocket, Mr. Brain Disease Man. Just give out your bank details.
And I do think changing your name to Mr. Brain Disease Man is also suspicious.
I think it's virtue signaling. Mr. Brain Disease Man. What's wrong with Adam? Don't change your name.
So, for example, I, at the moment, have not...
And I'm open to changing my mind.
I've not considered giving to a quadriplegic charity or charities for like people who have got no arms and legs.
Yeah.
Probably via military... You know, that's probably the charities.
Yeah, mostly. Or like, I don't know.
So I guess, but then if I joined the military and both my arms and legs were blown off.
And then you run, and then, well.
I'd probably have a lot of a stake. I'd be saying, yeah, you guys should have, I'd probably share something about.
How it's really important to give to military quadriplegics. Is that not a bit like...
It's unethical.
Yeah, is it not a bit like, that now it's happened to you? I should be
standing and just doing a talking head for Water Aid with no arms and legs and not mentioning...
Huge. Can you imagine?
I've got burns, 3rd-degree burns, no arms and legs, and I'm talking about the situation.
The situation in Africa must be awful. But is it not a bit? Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a really powerful charity ad for Water Aid.
Yes.
If it's loads of talking heads or people with clearly
awful situations. Awful situations.
There's someone like who's just gone through chemo in bed, and you could see that heart. It's like slowing down, and like,
give to Water Aid.
Give to Water Aid. That's a powerful ad.
That's a powerful. Instead of getting Olivia Colman in to do it and celebrities. Get people, this is true, get people, that's charity. That's real, like, hold on, we've got to solve this problem. What's the word? Because it's not gross, it's not selfish, but there's something like, if you become you only become interested in quadriplegic charities.
Narcissistic, right?
Is it though?
Yeah.
It feels wrong to call a quadriplegic raising money for a quadriplegic charity.
Well,
I can't
weirdly,
say that word.
This is the argument for, it's sort of an argument about free market versus communism in a way. It's about whether you should be allowed to follow your selfish interest,
whether there's central
and
planning in order to eradicate the worst disease first. I know the worst disease is obviously relative, but for something like, you know, with children dying of thirst in Africa, for me, that's like maybe the most urgent thing. Practically.
What I think, I understand.
And I might be wrong.
I think theoretically you're onto something. Philosophically you're onto something. Yeah. But practically, no. I don't want to enforce it. No,
let's
look at... for example, like Stalin taking all the grain and redistributing it, and then millions of people died from famine. Sure. I think that would be similar with your draconian charity measures.
Okay,
what would happen? You now run the charities, all of them, and what would happen?
I don't run them, I just distribute funding to them.
Well, I think...
I can't run them all.
I think what would happen, and this is why you have to be selfish with charities, because you have to have a personal drive behind it, and you sort of have to let people... have their own causes that they are personally invested in, as opposed to this sort of communist approach. What would end up happening would be a Soviet-style thing where you have your sort of special services kicking down the door of Macmillan, sort of throwing people out of beds, taking all their cash, and you just, in the same way they hoarded all the grain and everyone starved, and then just sort of distributing
all of it to
inefficiently. Just chuck the Water Aid don't know what to do with all the money it's blowing in. They don't know, they can't spend it all. There's corruption going on, and there's all these charities are just collapsing.
Yeah. It is a question. It really is a question of centralised planning versus free market.
It really is.
Which is, you know, the question I would like answered is if you collated all the money.
Yeah. This was the Great Leap Forward that I was talking about. The worst named policy of all time, the Great Leap Forward.
Oh, yeah.
Where 55 million people, it would be the Great Leap. Where 55 million people died from famine.
Odd kind of
what would you call this process?
Charitable redistribution system.
I think you should have a Great Leap Forward thing where it's built into it is that it's going to be a great success.
Let's solve the world.
Let's solve the world.
It's time to solve the world.
100 million people die.
Yeah, well, people are going to die to solve the world. My question.
Depopulate.
Yeah,
the only people alive are children in Africa.
Yeah,
and I don't think something. I feel something went wrong when it's like now the only people who are alive
are children in Africa. But that wouldn't happen.
No.
That wouldn't happen. You know,
not in your system.
No, because we've never received money from charity to stay alive. I think the majority of people in countries like in the West haven't received money from charity to stay alive. The majority of people around the world haven't received money from charity.
Majority of people in America are obese. So
facts, statistics. So what are you going to do with that?
Exactly. If we're doing a numbers game.
Yeah, he's my numbers man. Irrelevant facts. There was only
Gabriel
3 whales
Jesus
left in the wild.
Gabriel Jesus has scored 4 Premier League goals this season.
So we need to redistribute them. 4's too many.
What, really?
Give some to West Brom.
But he's up front. He should be
too
scoring
many.
more goals.
No, we need to give some to Ben White.
Are you saying that we need to redistribute goals as well?
Football, everything.
So everything gets centralised?
Everything. Even sport. It doesn't make sense.
Do you think it's too narcissistic having a top scorer?
Of course it is.
So you're having Harry Kane is scoring loads of goals in Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's like, why are you doing it? Why are you only interested in football goals when you're scoring? And your team's winning? What about the other teams?
So what you should do is every goal scored gets collated.
Yeah, and then I choose where it goes to.
Children Africa.
Yeah, well, African football teams. Child African football teams. Like local village football teams. Just to finish on the general philosophical point on it, is if it's... The question I'd want answered would be, if you collate all the money, we can make it democratic.
Okay.
This is me fleshing out an idea that I don't necessarily believe.
But go on.
If we were... Right, I know this is all theoretical.
Yeah.
We could democratize it by, we can all vote as what's the charity in the most need? What's the biggest problem, right? And we vote, and then there's an order of it. So maybe at the top, we'd have Water Aid, and at the bottom, I don't know, arthritis charity.
Fucking hell.
Sorry.
There's an arthritic listener who's been laughing at everything. Suddenly it's just... What?
You won't take my funding away from me! But they wouldn't be able to type that message because their bones are too brittle.
Yeah.
So let's say there's a rough I don't want to call it a leaderboard, but if we're honest, it's a leaderboard.
Like a Premier League.
It's a Premier League board. It's not even a pun. So we have that. Now we've all agreed as a world that's right. This is the issues this is really bad, and we should definitely sort this out.
So Israel Palestine put down their guns to say we all agree
to vote in this odd poll. Yeah.
It's a ceasefire for a day where we're all agree that this is.
Admittedly, it would be a hard poll because some would have more interest. Well, that's the whole thing. We can't democratize.
You're going to the heart of human badness. You're going to the heart of
the soul. We can't. We're animals. Maybe we can't democratize it for the very reason it needs to be democratized.
This is like first sin. This is eating the apple. You know?
So we can't democratize it. I'm going to choose.
You're trying to go back to a pre-Adam and Eve state.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or pre-Apple.
Pre-Apple.
Yeah.
So the only way we can do that is if I choose everything.
Yes.
We're not democratizing
it. So it's now back to dictatorship.
I've realised the problem of the democratizing it because the results would be skewed because of the reason that it needs to be centrally planned. So I would choose it, and I would say I'd make the leaderboard, right?
Yeah.
Then let's say it's a fair one.
Yeah.
People around the world look at it and go, yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
They don't look at it and go, he's clearly got some self-interest in there.
What happens if, for example, in Libya, there's street riots? When it comes out the leaderboards,
well, I'll say, hold on, just wait, just give me a minute.
Car bombs.
Guys, just give me a fucking second. Give me a second.
Molotov cocktails.
Well,
there's a huge arthritic community in there.
Well, they can't throw cocktails.
Yeah. No, but they're families. It's a big deal.
They don't care about them. No one cares about old people. It's really sad. So what will happen?
Another big problem.
Age UK. They're down the bottom of the list.
So you don't care about old people either? Because I thought the whole point is we're trying to redistribute.
I care, just not equally.
But what does Age UK do? Just
help? Well,
just in general.
I'm sure some really good work.
No, but is Age UK, is their shtick just sort of like old in general? They're not specified.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom then.
Yeah.
Right at the
bottom.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know what they. Yeah, I don't know what they exactly do. But
Yeah.
so let's say everywhere around the world is like, you know what? That's kind of fair. I haven't done anything yet.
No.
There's no reason to riot yet. All we've done is put them in a leaderboard.
It's a very volatile community, like culture in Libya. You know, it still has.
Well, they're probably writing about something else. I'd be like, that's something to do with my charity.
They're not. This
Well,
is
I'd be like, wait, give me a minute. I'm working on this. I'd say, hold on, stop throwing things. Listen. Then what we do is
French, they riot at a moment's notice. The French farmers
the
are
French
coming
will like this. It's socialist. They'll like it. It's fine. They'll be like, yes, it makes sense. So what will happen next? We've got that leaderboard. Nothing's happened yet. Everyone's given to charity as normal. Then I will get a man or woman in.
It's a nightmare being a kid.
It's almost. Do you think it's a difficult job being the leader of the world? So, God, I would have been cancelled 50 times before I've even started this policy. So, I then get a person in to do the maths, and the only question I asked them, I said, "You've got a day."
Yeah.
Because I'm a man who has tight deadlines.
You do. You have a lot of shit to fuck
I've got shit to do. Libya are rioting.
The French are chucking shit in
The
McDonald's
French
again.
aren't doing anything.
They, at a moment's
Well, the
notice.
yellow jackets are back.
Of course they are.
They're with their buckets. Their charity buckets.
Singing the songs of angry
And I'm still going, just wait. So,
I imagine you running onto the balcony of a chateau.
stop! Just give me a minute. That's a great response to a rebellion. Just give me one fucking minute. Jesus Christ. So, I asked one person, I said, you've got a day.
Yeah.
Find out the
biggest
total.
brains in the world. This is like super maths.
Them, he, she, it, have got the biggest brains in existence. You don't really need it for this, but you do, because there's some estimations involved. And I'm like, you tell me how much money, if we collate all donations to charity in the world, any charity, you tell me how much money we're talking, right?
Yeah.
What the answer I'd then like to know, that he's got a day to do that, actually. Yeah. I guess I'm not even necessarily going to implement this policy. It depends what the fucking person comes up with. So their question is, how much will it cost? How much will it cost to cause water? How much? I think I've lost the crowd by this point. Just with a quas. How much would it cost to solve starvation?
A problem like climate change.
There's a musical number.
How
much would it cost? How much would it cost to solve thirst? People dying of thirst in the world, all over the world, right? And then we take that out of the pot. What I'd be interested is to how far we get on the leaderboard. If we collate all of the money, right?
Yeah.
And the problems, and we go from the bottom up, where are we left with?
Yeah.
Are we left with like...
How many problems can we solve?
Exactly.
So the big ones are going to be really expensive.
Because you'd think solving problems will then help other problems.
Because you now got the thirsty people are less thirsty. And
you'd hope so. I've just spent like £7 trillion on it.
How about this?
Yeah.
No, there's no such thing as
the thirsty people are less thirsty. That is not how. That is demeaning to this policy. I've saved millions of children's lives, and you've said the thirsty people are left. You're meant to be my fucking policy,
you
man.
You can't call them thirsty. That's rude because it sounds like they're just like.
I didn't.
No, I realise now. I think there's no such thing as a free dinner. All right.
Thirsty is like just get a drink.
There's no such thing as a free dinner.
Yeah.
Or a free
Thank
drink.
you for these useless platitudes that you've been providing.
So I think we've solved your thirst, all right? And obviously charity, you should say that's free. But instead I'd be like, just as to help us out, we spent loads of money.
Could you take care of the elderly?
Well, yeah. So everyone has to do a community service who we've saved.
Now, we're going to a market economy. Interesting. It's kind of a combination of capitalism and communism.
But then it has a national service element. So there's a sort of nationalist,
it's
global.
Like, well, we stopped you from dying. Could you just go take care of Brenda for a few hours?
So all around the world we're shipping.
And then it's like, problems are created. Then eventually, after years and years, we'll slowly step back. And then quietly, all of the world's problems will be solved. Because of this redistributive charity donation scheme.
So it's a blend of systems. It's a centralised market economy.
It's
capitalism.
It's purely centralised planning for the start, which is where the difficulty is going to be solved. Because I'll actively be taking food out of hungry kids' mouths. That's exactly what I'm doing. Because unfortunately, people in the school, all those like school dinner funding and things for kids in the UK. I'm sorry, we've got people dying in
remember
Africa.
our friend Milo who had the cleft palate? And
He's going to have a cleft palate for a while.
So the Smile Train, which is a great charity that mainly in India.
Well, no, cleft palate can be quite serious, can't it?
No, I think it's just cosmetic. I think.
You're going to have a cleft palate.
What I mean.
I'm really sorry.
Well, the point of the Smile Train is it's cosmetic, but it's very easy to solve.
Yeah.
But in poor countries.
Well, no, because the Smile Train did do it, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So the Smile Train, they could do it. It's quite a simple procedure.
Yeah.
So that seemed like quite an effective, good charity. But they seem, to be honest, when we're talking big ideas, it's like cleft palates.
Sorry, it's cosmetic. I'm really, really sorry. I know it's important, but look, just think about the big system here. Think about the big system, and once we solve, I just feel like once you've done that, then there'll be another wave. There'll be another wave of things that we can then solve,
and then eventually it kind of goes back to normal.
And eventually when we're like, so once we've solved, the problems at the top of the leaderboard, e.g., water crisis, food crisis.
Yeah. Well, climate change is a tricky one, but.
Well, climate change charities.
I don't. There's not really.
There's not. It's mostly governments, really, isn't it? So let's not confuse governments in this, because I am the government.
Let's not make it even more convoluted.
I am the government. So once we've solved them, then we're like, as your suggestion was, then we can be a bit like, well, now that you're, as you've so nicely put it, not thirsty anymore, can you go and look after the old people, age UK? Not necessarily. We're not going to get children who we've just saved in Africa to come and look after elderly people in the UK. That might be, I think the travel would be unnecessary.
Quite a traumatising journey for like a 4-year-old.
100%. Rip them away from their parents.
We gave you water.
Yeah. Look after Linda. Give her soup. So, but then we slowly, so that happens, and then there'll be another round of charity donations, and then we give it to the next bit down on the leaderboard, and then the next bit down, we'll give it to the next bit down, and slowly you'll work our way to the middle. I mean, I'm not
slowly,
very slowly. Talking more millennia,
These
probably.
kids with cleft palates, just like, this is going to be a while.
Yeah, your whole life for a lot of you, which I appreciate is an issue. So that's my idea. I've been knocking that around for a while.
Yeah. No, I think it's good to think about these sort of things, and I do actually. I think that I can't see any glaring issues with that. I think
so. That was obviously nonsense, but the thing I'd like people's comments on is the initial. Is it a bit? Not as strong a word as narcissistic, but is it a bit in that realm of why do only people ever say, I'm gonna run for this charity because it affects them?
I think our whole conversation of the last 25 minutes has proven why the alternative is probably not good either. But I think the point you're making is true.
But the alternative is give randomly. That's not my centralised planning.
I don't know. Well, actually, I think having a personal touch. Yeah. I think seeing a charity ad where it's like, my nan has Alzheimer's. Yeah. I'm like, I want to give. I don't want to see. I've never met anyone with Alzheimer's.
Yes, you do. You said the powerful quadriplegic saying, I think we've got to give to Water Aid.
Yeah, that would, but that's
because
they got clearly
oh my
other
God,
problems.
It must be pretty bad. And it is. I know it's bad for it. Like, all of these charities are doing great work, but it's like, there's some that are worse.
No, they're not.
No, that's true.
A lot of charities are doing quite bad.
Well, the donkey one does good work.
They could be doing good.
What else? What's a bad charity?
Well, for example, here's to bring into it, you know about all the Black Lives Matter controversy. But I mean, it's a bit of like a right-wing kicking ball, so I don't know how much is real.
Right-wing.
Kicking ball. A ball that you kick.
Yeah. A stomping ground.
But you can't work out.
A kicking horse. No, a bashing donkey. A bashing donkey.
It's a reactionary bashing donkey. The Black Lives Matter charity misappropriation of funds.
What's the actual phrase? It's not kicking ball.
And I don't know how much truth is in this, but if I'm ready to believe the headlines that I occasionally read or come up on my feed,
how they're a neo-Marxist organisation.
We all gave to Black Lives Matter because we all felt super guilty, and there's this. We also had loads of.
I didn't.
We had a lot of our mainly white friends.
The black Instagram
posting on stories saying, if you don't give to charity, then you are like a crypto fascist neo cunt. And I was like, I'm not that.
So. I'm only half of that. Yeah. So.
And the idea was that you gave to that, and admittedly, I didn't quite know where the money was going.
Neo cunt. Sorry,
I was paying the 15. I paid £15 to an organisation. I guess it was sort of paying. Well, I'm not a bad person now. That's me off the list, right?
Well, that's the thing about charity.
I didn't really think about it wasn't clear where that money was going. I think it was technically going to like helping Black Lives Matter get like more.
I'm not sure how much of it goes
like banners saying stop racism. It was sort of like it was paying for like
how
the
much
paint.
of it actually goes to the community versus the organisation. Is the question really?
The controversy, and once again, this has been so politicised, is that the leaders of this ended up just getting like a mansion and villa and like misappropriating all the funds. Apparently,
whether that's true, who the fuck knows?
But this podcast is about not doing research, so I'm going to talk about it anyway.
That
happens often because charity. If I'm giving to charity,
Captain Tom.
part of it is like I've got some surplus money that I'm going to give so that to help people.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to give my time. That's why I'm giving money. So I'm not going to look where it goes.
Yeah.
And also, I've already got my rocks off.
What?
Because I've already given that and thought, fucking hell.
And you came.
No, but close.
What would you
morally came? I was like, fucking brilliant. I don't want to find out where it goes. I don't care.
What would it look like, Horatio Gould giving his time to Black Lives Matter? Just as a question, because I'm interested.
What now?
No,
or then?
at the time.
At the time. I guess sort of getting Molotov cocktails ready to blow up shop fronts.
Oh, like the riots.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. Would they say that the riots represented them?
Well, I don't know. I don't know a lot about the movement.
Yeah. So your time is making it worse for them.
I'm not saying I'm an expert.
No, but this is time. You can't deny that.
I'd be like in a marathon, you know, those guys who hand out water. That would be me in the riot, but with Molotov cocktails.
Be like, quick, it's on fire. Come on, throw it. Fuck's sake, throw it.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Nearly there. Nearly there. There's a Panasonic flat screen just behind there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, I was filling out my my tax return today, and with my dad, and he was kind of going through it, and he was like, "Have you given to charity this year?" And I was just like,
No.
Well,
I think
I don't have the disposable income as of yet. Living in London. We do. That's actually bollocks. Like we obviously do.
Yeah.
To give £5 to something, but I'm like, well, I should give. With all this chat, you know what? After this, I'm going to give £5 to water.
But the thing that
monthly,
I believe,
not just once.
The thing I really care about is if you do give to charity, is never talking about it. That's the key thing.
Absolutely.
That's the truth. What you should do, like homeless charity, for example, give 30 quid a month to a homeless charity and then don't give to anyone in the
100%.
street. That's the way to do it.
100%, 1,000%. Agreed.
But
I think Adam actually gives to Dogs Trust accidentally. Because they knocked on the door and he
also,
can say no.
In the leaderboards, where's Dogs Trust? It's pretty low. It's above the cleft palate, guys.
I'm a massive animal lover,
but
it's at the bottom.
Well, you can't.
It's not. It's above donkeys. It's above donkeys. But I'm sorry, animals are going pretty fucking low down. They just are.
For a bit.
But then all of the people that we've just quenched their thirst, they go and look after the stray dogs. It's a market-based economy.
Yeah.
I used to have a dog from Dogs Trust. Her name was Monica. I saw her twice. I wasn't allowed to touch her.
And wait, so that's it's an abused dog that you get to see?
Yes. So I wasn't allowed a dog. So my parents did many things for me, i.e. getting me a fish.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't touch the fish.
Fish trust.
No. Well, I now am the proud owner of a shark. I forgot to say this.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot to say this. No, so the dog, Dogs Trust, you got like updates on how she was doing. Yeah. And then you'd go to this place in Shoreham, and it was, you'd just walk in and it was like perspex cages is what they were. And it would be like meeting hours. I think I was only allowed to go and see her.
It was like a miserable zoo.
It was the saddest zoo you've ever seen. And then,
of abused dogs.
And I think I went, of abused dogs. And I'll be like, oh, there's Monica. I think I saw her 4 times. And all you could do was there was tiny little holes in the perspex glass. And you put your hand up and they'd smell you. And on my 4th time, I was kind of going, I looked at Mum and Dad, I was like, I guess she can remember me. And then we left.
And then they realised maybe we've run this as far as we can.
Yeah.
He's cottoned on.
Then they got me a cat.
Yeah. And then when did the dog come? When did Ozzy come?
Oh no, there was fish and then a hamster, a guinea pig. There was something else.
Was it sort of building you up to get a dog?
Well, no, they were trying to satiate my appetite for a dog.
You know, you're taking the fish for walks.
I was murdered, treating every animal like a dog. It was horrendous.
You're ready when the dog.
I had 3 hamsters: Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
And
I don't think it's true.
What?
I think that's a lie. I think I've always said that I was creative enough to name them that when I was younger. I think that's bollocks. I reckon I'm going to get a text from mum going, "That's not true at all. That's a lie."
But you know, a great storyteller lies.
Of course. Who gives a fuck?
Everything I've said on this podcast is a lie.
98% is the only 2% was what I just said about the charities just then. I believe that to be the truth.
That's the only authentic thing we've said on this podcast.
No, the dog came after I cried about it with my auntie, and then I got the dog. But on Christmas, my sister gave me an adopt a shark thing. I now have a shark that I can track anywhere in the world. She's spending most of her time off the east coast of.
When was the last time you tracked it?
Last week.
So it's got a got a tracker implanted, and you can just keep up.
Yeah, it's like that's a
bit of fun.
It is a bit of fun. So I have my own shark.
So what are you paying? Where does the money go?
I'm not paying.
To a shark charity baron's mansion.
Probably.
You know, they're just life couldn't get better than
the
this.
meanest great white shark in there. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if she'll definitely pay for it.
Yeah.
The money will go to probably conservation efforts.
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
You'd hope for sharks.
You'd hope so.
But you can get like monkey. You can't get a monkey.
Well, because we've actually touched on almost accidentally onto very interesting moral grounds, because there's that Clement Attlee socialist view of charity, where he views charity as unethical. He views it as like a virtue signalling, narcissistic moral approach where
and the state should.
It's tax. It's all about tax, and it's literally kind of what you're saying.
Yeah,
and that
it's a bit like tipping in America.
Yes, it's exactly like tipping in America because it's you make it
putting
personal.
the onus on the consumer rather than putting the onus on the state or the producer.
With Billionaires, the Bill and Gates Foundation, which, to be honest, socialists love to chat shit about the Bill and Gates Foundation and say that he's like a pedo who turns people into lizards via vaccines or whatever it is, which are fair points, but. It does. I do feel like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has done.
It's not doing bad work.
I think it's done some all right. Is he really like?
Do you really?
Is he like the? They speak about him like he's Skeletor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like built a lot of toilets in Africa, and I feel like he's doing some all right stuff.
I agree. I think I completely agree. I think most those critics tend to skip over some of the good work. Even if that charity is a front for him turning people into lizards via vaccines. It's still a front doing good work.
Yeah, and also
I'm yet to see the lizards. So
him shagging his assistant, I feel if you build that many toilets in Africa, that should count again.
That's a bit like the market economy we were creating for the charity. Yeah, in some way. It's not really.
You know about him shagging his assistant. You know about he cheated on his wife.
Yeah,
and they're getting divorced because of it.
Yes.
But what was funny is that I saw that kind of. That documentary he made about himself, you know, there was on Netflix, like Inside Bill's Brain. It was ridiculous. But what Bill travels around the world with the nerdiest bag in the world. It's a giant canvas tote bag. It's huge, and it's got 15 books in it.
15?
Right? Yeah, because he reads a book a day. Okay, that's his thing.
Bollocks. No one has time to read a book a day.
Well, Bill Gates apparently does.
And he doesn't.
He reads for apparently 2 hours in the morning, and he can read 300 pages in 2 hours. It's like,
not true.
Anyway,
I hate when people no, he can't.
Anyway,
I'm fed up with this.
I don't have the
Cat
actual
Williams
numbers.
said he read 2,000 books in a year. Lie.
Funny enough, I listened to the Mark Maron Cat Williams interview, which is a great interview. Very different to the Shay Shay one. He's a lot more...
Mark Maron, yeah. I thought you said Mark Norman.
A lot more mild-mannered.
Yeah.
And you get a lot more of his character, and it's very interesting and introspective. But the one thing that's the same is that he reiterates the exact same numbers of the Shay Shay interview. And he goes into more details
about
the
books.
He said he read from the ages... I forgot what it was, but wasn't it like between the ages of 8 to 12, he read 3,000 books. But instead...
No, he said 2,000 books a year. Or something like
whatever.
that. It's close.
But then, remember we crunched the numbers of what that means?
Yeah.
He did the numbers. He said, I was reading 6 books a day, mainly autobiographies. And he said the ones that stood out were like ones of people like Churchill and stuff.
I'd say name 3.
That'd be amazing if you could name 3.
If you can name.
But I mean, 3 is 3. I feel 3.
No, I'd want titles.
But 3, you're not going to win there because I'm sure he can name 3 autobiographies.
You've got. If you've read that many. You've got 20 seconds to name 3. You name 3, go. And titles. Go on.
Oh, fuck. Theo Walcott, Growing Up Fast.
Funny. yeah, fine. But you only remember that.
David
seconds.
Niven, fuck.
I don't know the name. And it's over. You see? Not as easy as what
I haven't read.
Exactly. But you'd think that's easy because you'd think anyone could.
Anyway, we got sidetracked. We were talking before Cat Williams. What we
it's
talking
over.
about? No, but we must end on a point.
It's over. It's over. Forget it.
Bill and Melinda Gates.
Bill and Melinda.
What was he saying?
I think their names are too similar for them to be married.
Well, that's probably why they
That's
divorced.
probably why they divorced, and rightly
But
so.
it was the idea, and this is definitely what happens,
Belinda.
is that billionaires do big charity galas. They make a whole song and dance, and they do these charity fundraisers where rich people turn up and they have a great time. They're dressed in tuxedos. They're having an awesome time. They're paying loads of money, but they've got loads of money to have a great time.
Yeah.
And then that money goes to charity. But then they're
It's all
avoiding
true.
tax. And that dichotomy is interesting.
I completely agree.
But then if you're building that many toilets in Africa, the argument that they would have,
They're being
which
just in an
obviously
unjust
obviously
system.
my dad has.
Well.
The idea is you can't trust governmental bureaucracy. They wouldn't trust you
It's-
to effectively do
Whoa.
it. But then Bill's like, I've got a massive brain. I read 12 books a day.
Yeah.
I know how to build toilets much better than a stinky old bureaucracy.
If any billionaire says that they're avoiding tax because they don't think the government will distribute it effectively to to anyone who needs it, they're lying. They're doing it because they want more of their own money. Of course they are.
That was it. It was an extraordinarily stupid chat, but also we touched on so
We touched
many
on a lot
rich
of
topics.
economic organisation,
But
morality.
in the stupidest ways. Like there was such, you have to have such a breadth of knowledge to be as stupid as we were.
It's true. Breadth, but not detailed.
No
Just a
detail.
vague idea of certain concepts. Be like, yeah. So have such a stimulating concept. Well, that's our niche.
God, that was spectacularly stupid. Thank you very much for listening, guys.
Come and join us on the
Privy
new
Council, please. We want to see Bogfolk. We want to see Knights of the Realm, and we of course want to see Baroness, High Baron, Lord Ladytons.
Yeah, and don't go on the Alec Baldwin one if you're not Alec Baldwin.